And we are late today for the podcast, but we're here. We're live. It's going to happen.
Hi, everybody.
Every week I'm trying to do something new. We got 3 new mic stands, and I'm setting them up and tweaking them, and then we have to get them all figured out and ready and stuff for everybody. So, hey, thanks for your patience again. But this is our 14th show.
Wow.
And is this number 4 for live?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
3. Okay.
Is it 3 for live?
3.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. What
3.
day is it?
Friday.
Is it Friday?
Yeah.
Is it like
April
the 13th?
9th.
It's the week of my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. Martha May's getting a happy birthday.
It's
Martha
the
May.
week of my birthday.
Yeah.
It's a week. that
So
my
isn't
birthday
it
was
like
in.
a birthday
Month?
month?
Well, yeah.
Are you supposed to party like
Year,
your birthday month?
Bruce, month, year, yeah.
I go weekend. I can't do months anymore. Full months.
No. Why?
Oh, just can't handle it. It's
We
always the
should
next
probably
day.
say what we're going to talk about today, huh? Free stuff. We're going to talk about free stuff if you get a COVID vaccine. Right? What do we
It's not popping up.
and your notifications? I just shared it. We're live. I got it. I'm on it.
Okay.
I'm on it. See, look, see everybody. We'll go like this whole double camera thing on there. Yeah, we got it, man. Hey, and we're going to talk about the vaccine free stuff. Apparently somebody just informed me seconds before we went live there's more free stuff for COVID vaccines
A lot more.
that are coming out, so that's good. Kemp lashes MLB as Republicans defend Georgia's voting law. We're going to talk about that. The Capitol police officer who was killed, sadly, we're going to talk about that as well. Everybody's probably heard about that. And then Hill Murray injunction denied by judge. That is the some hockey stuff, right? Did I get that story right? Yeah, I couldn't get the other link in there. So, but and a New York man smokes pot right in front of 2 NYPD police officers in celebration of legal marijuana. Woo! I had a lengthy conversation about that. I can't remember. I was up for about 24 hours yesterday, so 23, but
We can tell.
who's counting? I know I'm a little like,
But your hair looks good.
So sad.
but yeah, see
Yeah.
Sleep on your
the
head?
hair, yeah,
Aw.
the hair's always going to be good, you guys.
It's beautiful, Matt. It's beautiful.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. But we've got hanging out. Jackie's hanging out with us. She is getting used to everybody coming in every Friday, and she was at the window excited when all the cars came up instead of barking, So
She gives the best greeting.
yeah,
She's
isn't it great?
excited to see us.
Yeah, it's awesome. So hanging out with us is Lisa.
Lisa Lingle, Salt and Pepper Photography.
How do we find you? Who's tired here?
I
thought it was me.
Yeah, I don't normally start with me. You can find me at Salt and Pepper Photography, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Harmony Sage. You can find me on Facebook when I don't have a ban. Right now we're going on a 7-day ban. Got 24 hours to go. You can find me as of tomorrow.
You're a
Nice.
bad girl. Martha Make a Shoddy on Facebook, and knock on wood.
Oh, no knocking, swearing and knocking.
Knock on wood. I've never been banned, so I'm a good girl.
Wow.
And Craig Ugland, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
And we are 5 misfits just here trying to do a thing, right? And dedicate our time to helping people see different sides and perspectives. And I know I've really learned and grown from each of you. So thank you very much. And hey, if you're watching, listening, don't forget to hammer the like button, hammer the share button. I was going to try to play the video live today, but I couldn't get, that's one of the reasons we were behind. I couldn't get the voice and the actions to line up. So it was like one of those, right? I wasn't actually speaking a different language, but it looked like it, right? So
Yeah.
it was a little off. So we decided not to play it.
You
But
made
maybe
it.
at the end of it, we'll go for it
There you go.
and have it just be weird and off. So we'll see. Yeah, I
It's
know.
like a foreign film.
Yeah. Everybody's here, like, being goofy with me. I know you can't see cameras on me, you guys, but
It's okay.
so we'll show you what if you're new. Thanks for joining us. If you've been one of the loyal people to watch and listen, we appreciate you greatly. You help us learn and grow, and that's what it's about. We're here to learn and grow. We are working class people. We're not elitist. We're not anything. We're just here for everybody. I think each of us has a heart for people, and that we try to just share what is on our heart. Let's talk about marijuana first, huh?
I thought we were going to talk about the peanut butter in a tin can, but that's okay. Where you're going now.
Right. Well, yeah. So should we let's dig into that. Let's dig into this. The two police officers that are standing there watching someone smoke marijuana in front of them. Happy quarantine, the man greets the cops as he inhales and exhales. And you've got this on you see it on the screen here. Hopefully they've got them on camera. The cops are just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. In the back, they're like,
Whatever. It is what it is. So New York adults over the age of 21 can now possess and use marijuana even in public under a legalization bill signed Wednesday by Governor Andrew Cuomo. Though legal sales of recreational use cannabis won't start for an estimated 18 months until regulations are set. Passed after several years of stalled efforts, the measure makes New York the 16th state in the nation to legalize adult use of the drug. Yeah. I'm not going to read anymore, I don't think. Let's talk about it. Martha May doesn't like it. I can already see that on her face.
I'm feeling the energy from Martha May too.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know Martha May to start it because I was sensing it too.
let's go, Martha May.
What do you think?
Do it. That's what we're here for. Stop.
Let her
I'm
rip.
speechless.
And about which part? About that it's been legalized, or about the gentleman that we're smoking in front of
Both.
the cop?
Both. Obviously, it's nothing I've ever done or plan to do, so I'm not personally a fan of it.
Have you ever bungee jumped?
Yeah, no,
Jumped out of a plane?
no,
There's a couple more things that maybe you
yeah.
could add to the list.
Well, the other thing is I'm extremely allergic to pot or any kind of smell like that. So I was actually a narc in high school. So I could smell other people who were smelling it. I had to go to the bathroom in the nurse's office because of people smoking things in the girls' bathroom. So I was sabotaged a little bit. I was stereotyped because I had to go into the nurse's station to go to the bathroom. That's kind of weird when you're in high school. You know what I mean? You kind of look like the goody two shoe. So
We know that's not the case.
well, maybe it was.
Time
Was.
to change.
Maybe it was. Maybe it is. Yeah.
Well, I think that's
So-
interesting. I never heard of anybody having a reaction like that.
Yeah. I went into
Would you break out in hives? I mean, what were your side?
breathing?
Oh, okay.
Totally asthma related.
Hmm.
Yeah, breathing. Like hyperventilation and everything and stuff. So yeah, being, definitely allergic to it. It's something that I cannot associate with, cannot be around, smell, anything like that. I mean, I can tell, I can smell it, and I have to get away from it. So it's like anybody who's allergic to peanut butter, that kind of
Right.
thing.
Cigarette smoke, is that
Oh.
similar?
Definitely allergic to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How about edibles?
I
She
don't
doesn't
know
know
what
yet.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Tune in for next
It
week's
was your
show.
birthday recently, and we have cupcakes or
Yeah.
brownies or what?
Nothing no. So
Not your thing.
not
But what
my-
about other people doing it on their own time?
Are you an authoritarian?
I'm gonna
Are you-
jump. I'm gonna
I-
jump on this one. if
No,
that's
I got to dig
okay.
into this
Yeah.
one. Are you an authoritarian?
I'm not judgmental, but it's my decision.
Yeah, okay. But when Craig asked you the question about, other people doing it on their time, you were very silent and the look on your face was clearly
Well,
like disturbed.
it's just something I choose not to do, and I choose to hang around people who don't do it.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, do I judge people who do it? No, but do I prefer not to know or hang around people that do? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I have no problem saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like
So you're an authoritarian?
you want me to say yes, don't you?
No, I don't want you to say yes. I want you to realize that what you're saying is that you're not, but yet you kind of lean towards that. Like you want to tell other people what to do.
No, that's what I do.
Can you
So-
just have a strong conviction?
Right.
for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
belief?
And that's
I
good.
do.
And I think that, and so what I want to lead to at that point is that I think that that's really important to understand your personal conviction and be able to verbalize that without having to tell other people that they need to have your same conviction.
Right.
Yeah. That's where we're at in society, and so powerful that people think that we meddle, right? And we need to learn, in my opinion, to stop meddling so much with other people. We can talk about it, and we need to talk about it, but to meddle, that meddle piece is like, it's all over the place. To me, honestly, I'll be completely transparent with what I think of Governor Cuomo signing this bill right now at this moment in time.
Right.
This is a sleight of hand. Look over here. Look over here.
Smoke
Look
screen.
over
Literally
here.
a smoke screen.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead, Harmony, or Lisa was, I think she wanted
No,
to say
I'm-
something about some marijuana.
No, I totally get Martha May's side of this, because I can honestly say I've never smoked marijuana in my entire life. I have MS. I can get a prescription for legalized because it actually helps the nerves relax with MS. So I do.
We'll talk later. I can't get it. Wait. Sorry, no. I mean,
there's a lot of
are we still live?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of benefits. I certainly have no problem with anybody doing it. I think there's more friends out there that smoke it than you think, and that's to each their own. If I'm gonna have a glass of wine to wind down, you're more than welcome to smoke a joint. I don't care. I don't have a problem with this at all. I think it's gonna be out there, and at least it's out in front of everybody instead of doing it behind and doing it illegal. I think it's not gonna be long before Minnesota, knowing our governor, will make it legal soon.
I guess what I would like to say is congratulations, New York. I am definitely pro legalization of medicinal and recreational marijuana, and I definitely have my reasons for it. Personal reasons. I've been in the health profession for over 10 years, and I've definitely witnessed and heard stories of anything from toddlers to young children having 100 seizures a day, and with this medicinal marijuana limits them to 10 to 20 seizures a day. Now, if you're familiar with a seizure, even one seizure is terrible. So you can imagine the relief of parents, grandparents, guardians, foster care that take care of these children, and to be able to have something. Also, for constant pain, it's been amazing for people who are dealing with cancer or anything of that nature, and the pain is uncontrollable. And then I have a personal story of, and Martha May, you had mentioned that you don't want to know or would prefer not to be in the presence of one that uses marijuana on a daily basis. But my name's Harmony Sage, and I use marijuana on a daily basis. And I have my reasons for that. I deal with depression. I manage depression, anxiety on a daily basis. Also, I'm very self-aware that I have a lot of trauma in my past, and with that comes side effects of PTSD, OCD, ADHD, and ADD. I probably diagnosed myself, but and I've tried prescription medications, pain pills, everything you can think of, and the chemicals I'm quite sensitive to. So what I have found that has worked personally for me has been marijuana. So I say, yay, congratulations. I get the uncomfortable part. New York, I believe, is going to be the first state that is saying, hey, it's okay to go on the sidewalks and smoke it. Obviously, there's conditions, exceptions. Don't be at 100 feet within a school. And obviously we still have those worries of individuals that are like, oh, this is a gateway drug. If we're doing this, they're just going to want to try other things. We've been talking about this for years, and I can give you all the statistics and the numbers on that of how alcohol is so much more dangerous than marijuana, but that's not what I'm here to do. What I'm here to do today is to share my personal story and encourage you to read up and to talk to other people that have their own personal stories of challenges and what works best for them. To each his own. And so, I love that you said that, Martha May, and I'm the same way, but I think people would be surprised that I am a frequent user. I like that because what my goal is throughout all this is to break stigmas, to break the stereotypes that we look a certain way, we act a certain way. I'm a professional. I'm a single mom of 2 teenagers. I deal with quite a bit every day. So I can still go out and be classy and professional and still know that at the end of the day, I need to relax and unwind and manage my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Thanks for ranting.
Well said.
Sorry.
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
that
Bucks,
was a
that's
good
good.
rant.
That's
If you
what
don't
we're
mind,
here to
sorry
do.
about that, but I
No.
do feel very passionate
Ditto.
about
That's
it.
what we're-
Non-user here.
That's what we're here to do.
Copycat.
Can you tell I've been preparing for this for a
But
few days?
non-user here. So
Yeah.
amen.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
again what I love about this table is that we do have different perspectives, but
Mm-hmm.
here we are, we're sharing it and we're getting along and we're being respectful.
Yes, that is exactly what it's about. I cannot even begin to tell you all listening, but you all at the table, the messages that I get, whether it be you're a Republican or conservative or libertarian or whatever you want to label yourself, or Democrat, I get messages all of the time saying, lean into this and do it this way. And you need to you need to come out and say you're Republican. You need to come out and say you're a Democrat. You need to come out and see. That's where I believe everybody gets it wrong. Sure, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I probably would have done that. I would have agreed with that. But look at where all these tribal things that we're trying to like sort through in society right now is insane. And that is why we've been building up this show over weeks. My goal at first, and I talked about this in the podcast a few weeks ago, or right before one, we trust each other. We have needed to build that trust so that we know that there is not disrespect. I've had messages where people say, you all think alike, you all talk alike, and I'm like, wait,
No, we don't.
No.
I'm like, wait, this is a baby show. We are brand new. Wait.
We're
Wait
treading
for
water
it.
and feeling each other up.
Yes, we have to build the trust. We have to, and the audience has to trust us and things like that, and so that we can have these conversations and not fight about it. That's not what it's about. This is a platform, and Matt Logan Speaks in itself is a platform to try to just positively show people what it's like to have different controversy, and that's good.
And we can still respect each other while we're doing that.
Yes.
Absolutely. And why do we need to be pigeonholed into
Exactly.
a label?
Exactly.
Right.
Why can't you pick the parts that you like from this party and this party and this party and this party? Why can't we broaden our horizons and
Well,
exactly, and broaden the horizon statistically? We have the statistics on marijuana now, but 10 years ago we didn't. 5 years ago we didn't. And why is that? I don't know. But is there a reason that I mean, it's been around a really long time, and to not have
It's
some
like
of the
biblical
statistics, it is not good. It's not good for your lungs to smoke it. I mean, it's not. Any smoke isn't. Campfire is not good for your lungs. All you can go down all kinds of different roads that you want to, and what's better, what's not.
But there's other ways to do it other than smoking it.
Yes,
and
Yes.
that's where my angle is going to be from. And I don't want to repeat what's been said. I haven't directly ingested it, but I've been around plenty secondhand. And
Bill Clinton.
I lived in Colorado for 2 years. I got a lot of secondhand smoke. But I mean, I've got friends that they have COPD and they can't smoke it, but they do edibles, and it is a game changer for them and how they live. It's huge for veterans that are suffering PTSD, that instead of taking handfuls of pills every day to deal with what they've been through, they can take some edibles or smoke some weed, and it gets the demons out of their head for at least a part of their day. And that saves one life,
Yes.
we're talking about 22 suicides a day. If that saves one of those soldiers,
of veterans.
just veterans,
Just veterans.
if that saves one of those 22 lives a day, legalize it, give it out. I don't care, but it's saving lives.
A few years ago, I had listened to a podcast with some, I think there was 2 veterans on there, and one of them, they both had very similar experiences, and one of them used marijuana. One of them did the whole pill thing from the doctors, and it was a very different outcome. And but I want to say this too. I've also spoke with people who have chronic pain, and it doesn't work for some of them. That's just the way it is. It doesn't work for everybody.
Maybe I should try it.
And I think in our heads too, when you think of it, some people, I can't speak for everybody, you're thinking of Cheech and Chong. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Smokiness and all that stuff. You're not thinking of beautiful, strong women like Harmony here, who smokes marijuana every once in a while.
Functions
normally
highly every day.
For, keeping mentally healthy, whatever. So I think there's such a huge stereotype when it comes to that. And the only thing I'll say on this article, I was surprised that the amount that they're allowing
3
for
ounces.
you to have.
How
That
much?
seems like
How
a
much
lot.
is 3 ounces?
I mean, that was brought to my attention.
Right. I don't know. I mean, it's a good amount.
It's a pretty good amount.
It'll make you happy and relax.
There's no trial period. I mean, that's a, again, never smoked it, but that's a big amount. There's a
don't-
lot of people.
Yeah, I
that
have no
do.
idea either.
I'm more familiar with my friends that do the gummies and half a gummy
Yeah,
or a
and-
full gummy in.
And what I will say, Lisa is correct about that, and Matt. There's certain strains that are not effective for everybody. So, and even edibles don't work well. I'm going to throw it out there again. I'm not a fan of edibles. I have found that personally they don't work. So if everybody's curious, because I suppose maybe I'll get some messages soon enough of surprise and holy moly, I smoke it. I smoke it. So that's what works best for me. I have, I have tried a lot of things in my day, and this honestly is what works best. And considering where I've come from with other drugs and being around them, I will take this any day. I've been through some traumatic things, such as psychosis, going through methamphetamine. So marijuana is a beautiful thing compared to psychosis. I've never heard of anybody. It can at times, you can have some of those effects, but I have never heard of anybody having psychosis from smoking or ingesting marijuana. I'm sure it's out there perhaps, but I'm telling you, methamphetamine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, Klonopin, that'll all take you on a different path.
So speaking of beautiful things, the flower industry for the United States, the prices have now raised because these farmers can make more money growing, obviously, pot and everything else like that in Colorado.
There's a
Oregon,
farm not far from here that
California.
switched from poinsettias
Yes, there is.
to CBD marijuana.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is.
And
So
So-
yeah.
then we wonder why things increase with price. So
Well,
But
and
we
that's-
could say that about corn.
Yeah.
We could what they did with ethanol, and that's I mean, frankly, the science on that doesn't really match up with what they said it's going to do. So that's a revolving door, right? There's always navigating that kind
no,
of
I'm just
thing.
throwing that out there as
Yeah, no, it's not on
FYI.
true.
Effective
Yeah,
everything.
it's not on
FYI.
true.
I mean, that's
And-
my area of expertise.
But
that I
that'll
know of.
balance out,
Yeah.
And it
right?
could go the other way
Oh,
too.
I
Our
don't
mental
know.
health might be down because these people are smoking it.
Right?
I mean, it would be an
Suicides might be
interesting
down.
study too. Suicide might be down. It might be an
Hard
interesting
narcotic
study to
use.
follow
Yes.
up with.
Yes.
So,
And I like
Yeah.
to mention that other things can come from this, hemp, clothing, paper. There's so much. I don't know of any paper or clothing I can get from OxyContin. So I'm just saying that there's other benefits as well if we just open our minds and our hearts.
Let me give you this comment from somebody. They said, my son uses MJ. He's a recovering meth and heroin addict. He says alcohol triggers his addiction, but marijuana helps keep the addiction demons away. So thanks for the comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would agree. I don't know the scientific studies behind it, but I can't imagine people are getting stoned and driving and killing people. But people are drinking and driving and killing others every day. So if
There's
pot's-
very few. Correct.
if
That's
pot's illegal, alcohol should be illegal, and I'm not for that. So
And with like all things, when you buy or when you get your prescription pills, what does it say on the bottle? It says, don't operate machinery, be cautious when you're driving. It's the same thing, even with marijuana. I don't want to exclude that. I don't want it to be in the separate, where it's like, oh, you can do this and you can do that. You should always proceed with caution with anything that you're using to treat yourself, especially medicinally. So I want people to look at it like that. It's not a willy-nilly thing. People really need this medicine. We've needed it for years, and I'm glad we're talking about it.
I know one of the points they talked about for Minnesota was that there was no way to test like how much a person that's under the influence of pot while they're driving. There's no way to test compared to the breathalyzer of like
no,
alcohol.
they can.
There is now.
There's tests. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that is and if it's in every state, but I have spoke with state troopers that, yeah, they absolutely can test it.
people get pulled over for being under the influence.
Yeah.
Right, but there was no at the time. Well, this was a year ago. Minnesota had no way.
Minnesota might not.
That's what I'm saying. Minnesota
Right.
had
But
no way
Colorado
to test.
having or California that
Yeah.
they use it legally. They might, I don't remember where they were from, but
Sure.
they did say that they can test it. I don't know if it's on the road side that they can test it. But I imagine there's blood. How do you even test that? Urine? I mean,
A piss test.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I said
a
urine.
urine test.
Trying to be a
anal swab.
little
Bring out
family
the
friendly.
brownies.
COVID. Yeah, the Chinese is a COVID.
Is that-
Thinking of the hockey subject later.
I think it's anal
A
swabbing,
urine
actually.
test is. Yeah. Let's not go back to that conversation again.
Oh my goodness.
That's funny.
I know there's a urine test because, we talk about hockey later on, and it's, they urine test players quite frequently, especially younger players. So
Mhm.
at the junior levels anyway, where they should.
And yeah, it's probably not as easy, I suppose, as it is alcohol with a breathalyzer and things like that. Because it does affect it differently, I guess. But
I think it's pretty quick. I mean, think of back in the day when the Vikings player had the Whizzinator in his carry-on luggage and got busted because it was a way
that's
to
right.
fake his urine test.
yeah.
So, and I think they're pretty
Pretty
quick
quick,
test
sure.
results. Yeah. So.
Sure.
So just why I'm asking questions here. So a person that goes under like for a job that does a urine test. So if they test positive for drugs in their system, is there some kind of deviation that says pot's okay, but other drugs are not when they get a job?
I feel like that depends on the company. I feel like I've read in the past where and laws and things may change in the future, but I feel like it's the discretion of the business or company that you're working for. And before you get hired or before you are interested, I believe that it's disclosed. All that
If you're just joining us, we got flooded with people, so we're talking about marijuana.
Yeah.
If people are wondering what we're talking about,
it,
I just got a text. What are you guys talking about right now? I'm like, we're talking about marijuana. So if you're just joining
Hopefully
us,
the whole hour is not on
No.
this, but okay.
no problem.
It'll be a
Well, it's
longer
not
show.
working well, Harmony. Let's keep it rolling here.
Tune in next week.
So just to continue, I think, again, it depends. And one thing that, I'm aware of is that if I'm going to apply for a job, I'm very well aware that they're going most likely. Are they effective? Some are, some aren't. I think this remains to be seen as far as how that stuff's going to be handled. New York's the 16th state to say, hey, this is okay. How are they going to handle that?
I'm going to
part?
interrupt you again.
Okay.
We are having some Wi-Fi problems if you're watching, but we will post like all the segments and stuff throughout next week. But the Wi-Fi is, I'm in the country, and so we do this in the country via satellite. And I don't know, Elon Musk must not be very
A CDL, a commercial driver's license, just like alcohol, you can only have a 0.04, and I believe that they can take a piss test. And if there's an accident and you're a truck driver, one of the first things that's going to happen is you're going to get a urine test to make sure that you don't have anything.
it's going to probably bring out a lot more science behind it and see. Obviously, the medical use marijuana, they're testing that like crazy and things. I do know people that it's really helped them a lot. And I just, insulin went skyrocketed again. I just saw something about that. And, and so these drug companies, they've got a market on some of these synthetic things and that to me is sickening. So one of the plus sides of this to me is like, wow, this is going to be a lot less expensive for people with chronic pain.
It's true.
So
Tune in next week. We're all taking edibles before the show.
We're all going to Jamaica.
Yeah, man. Driving fly.
Yeah, man.
maybe they have better satellite service in Jamaica. Yeah. Let's dive into Hill Murray. And if the internet is being just goofy.
People are saying that. cutting in and out.
I don't know why I've been testing it all morning and it's been super stable. So, all right. Hours after a judge rejected a temporary restraining order request from 9 Hill Murray seniors, the Minnesota State High School League officially moved on without the defending Class 2A. The Minnesota State High School League has been notified by Hill Murray High School that they will not be participating in tomorrow's quarterfinal game of the 2021 Class AA Boys State Hockey Tournament. Wow. Is there a lot you want to read on this, or
No.
just to kind of talk about what's going on? And
I mean, I have a couple issues of, first off, for people that either aren't from Minnesota or aren't hockey fans, may not realize how big of an event it is for any high school hockey player to play in this tournament. It's like football in Texas. It is the biggest, it's the pinnacle for any high school hockey player to play in the Minnesota State tournament. One of the quotes in the article, one of the articles, was from Neil Broughton, who played 16 years in the NHL. He played for the Minnesota North Stars. He was on the 1980 U.S. Olympic team that beat Russia, the Miracle on Ice. And he said his fondest memory of playing hockey is playing in the state tournament. More than 16 years in the pros, more than beating Russia in the Olympics.
Wow.
That's how big this tournament is. And to take that away from these kids that have already had a completely screwed up season because of COVID. And my issue with it is the state is holding these players to different standards than what our governor held himself to. The governor quarantined himself for 7 days. They quarantined these kids for 10 days or didn't allow them to play for 10 days. So there's double standards, and they were exposed to another player from another team that had tested positive, but none of these kids, and same with Hermantown, none of these kids tested positive for COVID, but they were not allowed to play in the state tournament. So, and a shout out to Dodge County Wildcats, who they benefited because they didn't have to play their Hermantown varsity team, but they took second in state. So
Woo!
Good job to you
That's
guys.
good.
But I mean, to tear that dream away from these kids is just, I don't know. It's completely inappropriate. And then it's the double standards that are being used to do this. So.
double standard is, to put it mildly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There was a family kicked off an airline a couple days ago too. A 2-year-old not wearing a mask, was 2 years old, and it's 2 and under. You don't have to. And so they, were arguing with them. Well, John Kerry's on an airplane. Apparently now it's come out that he was on it for a long time without his mask. It wasn't just a couple minutes to take that photo.
Wow.
And so it's like, come on. As Joe Biden would say, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Suck it back. Suck it back.
Well, that's not Biden. That's his
I know, but that's his
press secretary.
right hand person.
Yeah. So I guess why? I can't, I looked at a few things. Why? It doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Especially with how things are opening up.
Yeah.
And then they just
Not Minnesota,
pull
though.
that news right back.
Not
And you
in
think
Minnesota.
about their future too. I mean, all the scouts that come out,
Yeah.
that's a big, like you said, that's huge.
Shoot, this
And
is
then
the
all the
biggest
scouts come
hockey
out.
tournament
This
in
is-
the country.
This is their future because they might
Yes.
have been exposed. Well, they were exposed to someone who, I
To
don't know.
NHL scouts, to college
you.
scouts, all over the place.
It was very sad to read this. Very sad.
So
Maybe that's why they're legalizing marijuana, so that all the mental health that's going to be really poorly
Nice
right
one.
now. I don't know, man.
There's got to be a bright spot there.
I don't know. This is bad, though. I don't mean to make a joke of it because it is really bad. These students, suicides are up massively
through the roof.
massively through the roof. And I don't even know if we understand how much it is. I don't think we can count it yet.
No, they said
And-
it takes a 2 full year cycle to be able to evaluate all that for all the reporting. So there's
Just
reports
that's
coming.
just the reporting, though.
yeah
Yeah.
reportings, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's going to also then increase. So how do we, if it takes that long to do the reporting, how do we stop that climb? And clearly it's not by these kids not playing hockey.
Right.
This is a virus. Look, the virus is real, and I'm not saying it's not real at all, but this is a virus that does not harm people of this age.
And they're all wearing masks. They have to wear masks while they're on the ice and on the bench and in the locker
The
rooms.
science shows that.
Yes. Follow the science.
Look at the big venue they're in. It's not like they're sitting in a room that's 2x2, you know, or even.
Well,
The
they're in
contact.
close contact. I mean, they're hitting each other and sweating all over each other and all that stuff.
But they have masks on.
They've got masks on, so there shouldn't be an issue, right?
Hmm.
Not pointing at you, but
Yeah.
you know, mask this, mask that. They're masked. They have to be masked. There's tricks of the trade, but they have their masks on. So it's frustrating, and I
if
feel bad for
masks
those
work,
kids.
Then, you know,
Then
put your shirt on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
So I guess for me, this is another instance that we have to look at it and say, look, this is authoritarian. This is not. This is. I mean, it's not like cohesive through anything.
do as I say, not as I do.
Yes, I mean that is. It's horrible,
Yeah.
and we have to start saying enough is enough.
Mhm.
Oh, this is going to go away. I hear that weight. It's going to go away. Okay. Now they know that masks themselves are, if they're worn properly, it's about a 1.5% difference. That's it.
The proper mask worn properly, though.
Yes.
Yes. The
So they,
proper mask worn
so they
properly.
figure that out in real life. And granted, Denmark is the only one who's done an actual like human study, and it says it doesn't work. It makes no difference whether you have a mask on or not. But that's not the science. This is a real life human study that Denmark did, and they're like, nah, it's not the science. So just follow the science. And
that science doesn't follow their science.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to say enough is enough. It's not going to just go away, and because it's going to go away, we have. I know my mom. I'm like, I'm going to go into the gas station. Well, I got to grab my mask. I'm like, just make them tell you to put it on. You know, I go in pretty
Go, Matt's
nearly.
mom, go,
I
Matt's
right.
mom.
I go in pretty much everywhere, and I don't wear my mask until they tell me to.
We were
And I respect it. If it's the rule, I respect that.
Mhm.
But if it's not the rule, then they're not going to tell me to.
well, and I get frustrated with the lack of consistency. So I was at Costco with my 4-year-old last week, and she'd been in there half a dozen times in the last 6 months. 4 years old. So we've never been asked for her to have a mask on. So I didn't bring one with. It was in the truck, and it was a different gal at the front checking your membership cards. And she said, "Well, how old is she?" And I said, "Well, she's 4. Well, she has to wear a mask."
Sad.
Well, I don't have one with me. So she gave her a mask, an adult mask that hung below her chin. I'm like, what's the point?
Oh, the point is, we're going to tell you what to do, and you're going to do it.
Yeah,
That is the
so-
point.
That's authoritarian.
Yes. No, I know. I wanted to give you a rough time.
It's the lack of consistency everywhere. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Anyway,
So yeah, Martha May, you're right. If the masks work, why can't they play?
Yeah.
COVID or not COVID, exposed or not exposed, masks work. Let them play. Obviously, it's
Kudos to
too
the
late.
kids and their parents, though, who brought up the litigation to try to take a stand. Unfortunately, the judge did not waive in their favor, and that the time was not on their side to be able to waive in their favor, to be able to do that. You know, it's sad.
and it'll be interesting. I mean, this is Hill Murray. This is a private school. There's a lot of money floating around, so it'll be interesting to see if those parents go back at the state to say, "Hey, you know, these kids are suffering mental
Well, they're talking
damage
about,
because they weren't able to play in this tournament
they're
that
talking
they
about trying to turn over the Minnesota State High School League now as a whole.
I have to say, I think there's a lot of people that have been coaches and stuff frustrated too. The problem is back again to circle back to cancel culture.
that was for you."
Yeah.
Uh,
People are so
I'm
afraid.
still stuck on this gummy thing. I just I don't know.
The what thing? Oh, the gummy thing?
Gummy?
Gummy
Uh,
edibles.
Sure, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, that was like a while ago.
I know, but I'm oh,
I
okay.
just got to tease you. Yeah, no. So I think that hopefully some coaches are going to stand up, but people are afraid they're going to lose their job. They're going to stand up and say, look, this is a load of crap. And we're not going to put up with it anymore, but they're afraid of losing their job. And that, I have
Sad.
such a problem with that.
Mhm.
I'm going to hold back right now.
Why, Matt? Let it loose.
No, because we'll get banned.
Yeah. We'll get banned
'Cause
on
we will get
podcast
banned.
14, yeah. Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
But how important is your job to your grandkids that you don't have yet?
Do people know that the Constitution says that if you are a company that provides public service to the public, you cannot discriminate? So when you go into Costco, because they provide service to the public, they are going against our Constitution by saying you have to wear a mask.
Right.
A lot
And-
of people don't know that.
Right.
We need to challenge these places. I mean, we need to challenge these places. That is against our constitutional rights. They may have a law in there or a mandate that says you need to wear a mask. Guess what? If you are open to the public, you have to go by the Constitution, not whatever you decide as a rule.
No, they can make their rules.
It's a
And that's
company, though.
yes. You can
No.
have company policies.
No, I challenge you on that. No,
no
the
shirt, no shirt service. Same thing. It's
No.
not in the Constitution.
Yeah, no, our constitutional right. I'll bring it. I'll show it to you. Yeah.
Well, it's where in the Constitution?
It says if you are open to the public, you have to provide service.
Yes.
Not provide service, not deny service.
Yes. They also can have the rules that they need to make that to keep it's a public
Just to get a
safety
safe
thing.
environment.
Yeah.
No.
So let's
Yeah.
bring the Constitution next week.
Okay. Well,
I'm totally up for that.
Oh boy.
I'll show you.
Let's study.
Yeah. I won't even study. I'll tell you that. You just bring your stuff and we'll just have a conversation. I won't even study.
Constitution challenge.
Head to head.
Yeah.
Personal accountability.
Bring it.
But
Bring it. I'm up for it. Let's talk about the Capitol police officer.
this is sad.
This is really sad. This is a really long article. It's a very honoring article to this man who lost his life at the Capitol. He was 18-year
Veteran.
Capitol veteran. This is sad. Talks about his kids and and how he was their hero before all this happened. That he will be in the rotunda. I don't think I'm going to read the article too much. I think everybody has probably heard about this so far in things. But
just keep thinking, what
I
a
don't know.
tragedy. What a tragedy. And then, of course, and then we see, what was his name? Noah, whatever. He was like a 25-year-old that was having, he was delusional and having suicidal thoughts. So unfortunately, we were going back again. Like if we, to, such something as marijuana, I'm not saying that would have prevented this by any means. But what I'm saying is sometimes if we can address mental health, I believe very strongly that we can see a decrease in this kind of stuff in the future. It's not 100%, nothing's 100%, but I definitely think that I've seen an increase of these kinds of things in the news and in articles. It's so sad, and I think he also, again, with all respect to who passed away, but the media sure just really, really gets everybody going with some of the stuff. And I'm glad that they're showcasing this. And so we can respect Billy Evans. But I think I get so much more out of this article, which I usually try to. I get more than what it is. And what I'm getting is we need to start addressing mental health concerns so we can make our country a safer place.
Noah Green, they're very, I think the way that they could honor Billy the most is to call out Noah Green a little bit.
Yeah.
Noah Green drove to the Capitol. He lives in Indiana, I believe. And I looked at a lot of articles and I decided today that I wasn't going to pull those into this. I was just going to have a conversation off of memory. But anybody heard of Louis Farrakhan?
Yes.
That's mentioned. Yep.
He was a follower of Lewis, right? Lewis, I'm saying his name right. Louis Farrakhan, who's a terrorist.
Mhm.
This is a terror attack.
Hmm.
He defended the Capitol because there was a terror attack. Someone purposefully drove from out of state with a knife in his car to cause terror.
But that's not on the headlines.
That's not, and that's very dishonoring to Billy.
Yeah, 95% of this article, which rightfully so, is about the police officer. But
Yes.
they barely touch on the perpetrator, and I'm okay with leaving his name out of it, but that should be discussed as well. Why are they trying to? Are they specifically trying to be vague about the person that did it?
Yes. I believe so.
Me too.
Because if you look and cross-reference the articles on the man who shot 8 people in Atlanta, 6 of them Asians, you know, they're talking about him being a white supremacist and all these other things, that it was a hate crime. Even though the man himself said it's not a hate crime, it's, you know, he had a sex addiction, and that was the cause of it. He felt that these places were, you know, harming his addiction and things like that, I guess. But the articles would call out him on that, white supremacist, all those things. You know, this is a hate crime against Asian people, and perhaps it was. I don't know. But isn't any violent crime a hate crime? You know, I mean, it doesn't matter who does it, who it's towards. I mean, a violent crime towards another human being seems pretty hateful to me.
It's a hate crime, yeah.
You know, and so I don't know why. Again, the tribalness and the categories that they have to label this, one human to another human, is causing this kind of terror. It does not matter.
Right.
And now people are going to say, well, it's because you're white.
Well, is this a hate crime against police officers?
Exactly.
And I'm glad that they're covering the officer's story, and that needs to be done. And it just seems like there's a narrative in the writing of the article. So, but
yeah,
maybe I'm trying to see that. I don't know.
Well, the point being is and I want to say, people who are watching, listening, go do your research. Look, we say that every week, probably should say it more. Go do your research. You need to go out and look things up and not just believe the narrative of one news source or one whatever it is, whether it's your neighbor or us. Go look. That's what we're trying to encourage here. But, you know, the Colorado, we were talking about Colorado earlier, the guy in Colorado who killed, was it 10 people? You know, he was from Syria, and they literally on CNN said that he was, he had white thought process or whatever. I can't remember now what it said, but you know, that they were saying that the reason that he was indoctrinated by white people, in other words, and that's why he did it. It's just so ridiculous that they're trying to grasp at all these things and do this. But hate is hate, crime is crime. Call it out equally. If this guy, I mean, Louis Farrakhan, I mean, anybody that remembers and knows who this guy is, you know, I mean, this wasn't an arbitrary thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 kids sitting at home tonight. They don't have their dad around because of
Right.
this.
Right.
The loss of a life. Every life, doesn't matter what color it is.
Mhm.
It's the loss, and it's very sad.
But call it for what it is.
Exactly.
This is a terror attack from a terrorist organization.
Scary.
So already, we're only in April, and already we have 25%, almost 40% officer deaths of what we had for the year 2020.
Yeah.
I just pulled up the stats.
Wow.
So, and you guys know how, you know, I defend Back the Blue and Peacekeepers and the life they go to work and put their lives on the line every day and not knowing. So,
And news organizations and this narrative, you know, I mean, I don't know. More, I want to encourage more people to do what we're doing, I guess, and that is to dig into these things, sit down with people who you might not always agree with, but that will respect opinions and bounce this stuff around. Because look, there's this stuff is happening, and we're calling it something that it isn't. In a case like this, they're not calling it for what it is. And this is a terrorist who was encouraged by terrorist people and organizations.
Ideals.
Yes. And yeah, so Billy, thanks for your service.
Amen.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
So Kemp lashes MLB as Republicans defend Georgia's voting law. So that'd be, of course, well, I thought I muted my computer, but clearly I didn't do that. So Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia, who is starting his re-election push, argued that the league had caved to fear in its moving its all-star game as he tried to rally Republicans around the new voting limits. This was interesting, and I don't know if anybody's been following some of this, and Major League Baseball virtue signaling here. They moved to the state of Colorado, and Colorado actually has less days that you can vote, and some of these other things. So this is talk about posturing and talk about BS. Let me say this too. Look, anybody that knows me very well, I'm not a typical guy. I don't like professional sports. This is exactly why.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly
They thought
why.
they lost it.
Stop being flippin' political
When they
about
strolled,
anything.
when they went on strike,
Pisses
years
me
ago.
off.
And football lost how many viewers when they did the whole take a knee thing, and this is why. This is exactly why.
There's been some good articles on this, and like you just said, people need to do their research and not just read the headlines and what happened with the voting law changes. It's not what everybody thinks it is, of being bad and keeping voters suppressed. In the article that I was listening to yesterday, they talked about how Atlanta is like one of the most progressive cities in the country for Black-owned businesses and people of color businesses and entrepreneurship. And it went on to say, of any place in this country, this is not the place where you're going to try and suppress people of color and not allow them to vote. Atlanta, Georgia, that's not the place where you're going to push that agenda and have any success. But that's how the media is twisting this. And, Major League Baseball and Coca-Cola, they're pandering.
They just oppressed, actually, a whole bunch of people that they're saying they're not going to oppress.
Right.
Because there's not the Black businesses, and if you want to, again, I'm not,
They said there's 51% Black in Atlanta.
Businesses,
less than 10 in Colorado.
Yeah, the businesses that they are now oppressing that are owned by Black people are this is destroying that narrative.
How many?
They're
how
literally
much,
doing the opposite of what they say they're trying to do.
How much tourist money are those Black-owned businesses going to lose?
But
because
what?
the All-Star game
I
isn't
think they
there.
need to do. I think that they need to let people in these games without tickets.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
They're oppressing me.
Oh,
Hit them in the pocketbook.
They're
Hello?
oppressing me.
let everybody in.
Let everybody
whether you
in.
have money or not.
Yeah.
Let everybody in, money or not.
Let's
Gummies
go.
for all.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's.
That's an idea.
And you don't have to show your COVID card.
Who's with me?
Let's go. Hit them in the pocketbook.
No, but that's they require that you have a ticket to get into these games.
That's
You have to
oppressing
pay for the
poor
ticket
people.
to get into the game. That's a form of ID.
Good point.
Mhm.
Let everybody in.
Ready to stop.
They don't need to make money, do they?
No, that's capitalism. You don't
Yeah,
want
they don't
that.
like
That's
capitalism.
bad. That's bad stuff.
I don't know.
They
It's
can
so
have posters
messed
up.
up.
They can
It's
have
so messed
fake
up.
people and posters up in their stands for the rest of the year.
They're pandering, yet they're hurting the people that they're trying to. Yeah, it just doesn't make. They're not thinking these things through.
Yeah, they are. They want it to be one way, and they want people to cave to these ideas and these ideals, and they're pulling out all the stops with it. The basketball, they couldn't. Basketball couldn't. Was it basketball? I believe it was. Hong Kong support of Hong Kong, like right at the beginning of COVID, I believe it was. They came out and some of the players. Now I'm pulling this out of memory, but some of the players had the Hong Kong on their jerseys or something, and they said they couldn't do it. Well, then BLM was okay,
Right.
you know, and some of these other things. So China's trying to oppress people in Hong Kong, and they can't support. Wait, what? Can we do some math on this?
So this article that I read, it was a podcast, and they talked about that of number one, politics. Sports needs to stay out of politics. Period. They're entertainers. That's it.
Yep.
And
so does entertainment, any form of entertainment.
Right. And the president is behind these movements in sports. Okay, you're calling for boycotts of these sports. Are you going to boycott the 2022 Olympics in China? Because China has prison camps. China has slaves, essentially. But yet you're going to send Americans to that country and support that economy?
Well, the Uyghur,
where's the double
Muslims,
standards?
The Uyghur Muslims are, they're in essentially concentration or labor camps, I guess is what you call them.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're going to support that country and their initiative of the Olympics. It's those double standards.
He did hear you, but
I did. I'm talking about bats. Yeah. So it just all or nothing, man. So
but again, they're trying to push this agenda and things. So I and what that is, I don't know. It changes all the time, but they definitely don't want. They want what they want, and they're going to scream and jump up and down and do whatever they need to do.
Look how many fans baseball really lost how many years ago that they went on strike. I mean, it just made everybody upset. They wanted more money. And now, it's all for them kind of thing.
and it's happened in hockey and
football. A year ago, they
and,
wanted to be able to play, and now they're complaining where they can play at because of something to do with voting. It doesn't even have anything to do with COVID or restrictions or anything like that. It has something to do with something political that should not be associated with it at all.
I completely agree. And all these players, LeBron James especially, and the kind of money that, and Steph Curry really too. I was very disappointed in him. They're getting money. China's profitable for them in massive ways, and so they're not going to stand up to some of these things. So that's why they're this leftist, almost communist agenda is just, I don't know, it's wild.
Well, I mean, you can go down a wormhole in this. All these pro athletes that are making tens of millions of dollars a year, living in their tens of millions of dollars mansions. Put your money where your mouth is and start helping the people in these depressed, impoverished communities. Why do you have to have a 20,000 square foot house? Live in a modest 10,000 square foot house and put 100 families into their own homes.
So President Biden came on and gave a press release, these are the leaders of our country. These are the people of our country. And his little news article was done. And the next news article was the Washington football player that has 10 counts of sexual misconduct charges against him. I mean, literally, like right after that. These are the leaders of our country. These are the people our kids should be following.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the NFL player who killed the doctor and his wife and 2 grandkids, a couple other people.
Player.
Yeah.
So.
Be careful.
Sure that we all know that those NFL players, there was that a year or two ago talking about the brain injuries and stuff that they occur. So
was that the Rodriguez guy from the Patriots?
Aaron Hernandez.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's been proven that it exists. I could only imagine you get your head from, usually these guys are coming from high school on up, if not, pee-wee football. So you can imagine how many times they're hit, and it's eventually your brain's just going to be affected.
Well, in the article about the marijuana, it was Jim Belushi's brother John was a football player in high school and college, and he got his bell rung, and they said get back on the field, and Jim Belushi, the brother who has a marijuana farm in Oregon, had said if marijuana was available back then, my brother may have still been around.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, I don't know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and some of those. I guess that's a little dangerous path to go down, but I think that it's worth studying for sure. But I think you got to, I don't know.
Yeah, wormhole.
Yeah, it is. I call it a rabbit hole because
It's probably the right term.
yeah. Let's talk about some free stuff like donuts.
All right.
But
Yeah, right.
but you have to get your
There's
COVID
more.
vaccine.
But wait,
There's more. As if protection from COVID-19 wasn't enough, getting jabbed could also get you swag. Woo! And fluffier. From Krispy Kreme donuts to free beer and weed. We just got to have more weed in
there's
there.
a theme this week.
I feel like this has been the whole podcast. We find ways to just bring it up again.
And it talks about how companies are, giving all kinds of free stuff if you bring in your vaccination card, and Krispy Kreme, Sam Adams, Brooklyn Brewery. There's a mint dispensary. There's Uber and Lyft, Junior's Cheesecake, Staples, Office
Baseball
Depot,
games, yeah.
Office Max,
Wow.
Cincinnati Reds. All these things. It's like,
Kudos to them for marketing, though. I have to say,
Exactly.
better marketing.
What-
Kudos to them to jump on the
what
The bandwagon.
now bandwagon.
there's other places too. I heard.
Yes,
what other
there's
places,
local
Lisa?
places.
What
There's
other
there's
places, Lisa?
Local in Minnesota and Rochester. City Auto Glass is giving a can of their own glass cleaner just for showing up and showing your COVID card, vaccination card. And Salt and Pepper Photography, Southwest Rochester, is doing a $20 gift card for everyone in the month of May for just
Nice.
stopping by and showing you. Doesn't matter which vaccination you got, but yeah, I'm hoping the reason why I jumped on this, why it was intriguing to me. Hey, who doesn't love free stuff to begin with?
Right.
And second of all, like you said, kudos for marketing, kudos for getting people back in your business, kudos for getting our
Mhm.
business back and opened up and those doors. And if it takes giving away a free donut, a free gift card, a free can of glass cleaner, so be it.
I thought you were going to say a can of whoop ass.
Well, maybe that too.
Whoop donkey.
Depends on the business.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say on this. Might be the marijuana. Anyway, I just had a break. But no, but I think professional businesses out there know that there's a few incentives that employees love. One is food. They, how often are you not getting a raise? But hey, we got free pizza for everybody, and people still jump on that. They love that. Other things that were mentioned, vacation time, this and that. So, yeah. Kudos to them for the marketing. With the free donuts, I feel like they're hitting our waistline a little bit, but I have not ever been one to turn down a
Well, they don't want to
donut.
make you healthier after you had the COVID shot.
Or beer.
There's cash incentive. Petco is doing $75. Again, I'm going back to City Auto Glass. They're giving 4 hours of pay for you to go get your vaccination.
Wow.
So I know Salt and Pepper's employees are loving what they're getting for benefits. So
What's
Can I
that?
play?
And what?
that's
Can
a
I
day
play-
spa,
Can I play devil's advocate now?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Please, yes.
It wouldn't be the show without that.
Wouldn't be.
Matt.
I know.
Oh. Why?
Why?
Why are we? This is the first
No.
vaccination ever that you're being rewarded for.
Yeah.
Why is
Great.
it? Why is it
being pushed so hard?
Why is it being so?
Rewarded?
Why is this being pushed so hard?
Right.
And here's my point with it. We still have to. They're saying we still have to wear a mask. The CDC now came out and said, well, you could probably, if you're vaccinated, you could probably hang out with people now, but be careful, social distance.
But hey, come on in.
But
What?
let's give you a shot.
Yeah.
In fact, let's give you 2.
Yeah.
And then you're
And-
going to need a booster.
And then you're going to need 1 in 6 months.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, and still wear a mask. Oh, and by the way, don't hang out with anybody.
Bars still have to close at 11 o'clock.
and
yeah.
and no voter ID at all.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to. We're talking about let's do passports for vaccinations.
Yeah. So you have to prove wherever you go with that.
I don't
Can I
know.
go? On a
Do we,
cruise
have to, do we have to worry about? I was thinking this because I had an experience the other day. I went into a shop in Winona and they had mentioned that. They said, hey, do you have your COVID card? And they asked it like that. And I was kind of like, my mom and I kind of stopped for a second. We were thinking, and
I would have gone like
you
this.
need 10% off. And I was like, I'm like, so I had mixed feelings with it, actually. I love it. I'm sort of in support of it, but I'm also in the middle a little bit because I'm like, what if I don't want to reveal that?
It is against HIPAA laws.
And I think it's all about how
Mhm.
you word it too, as being in this business, saying things like, did you get your shot, or do you have this card to show me? I think it's all about verbiage. But I actually had a moment afterwards. We went to lunch and I said, I'm not sure how I felt about that. I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it to me to be getting these discounts just to let somebody that I don't know into my life,
Mhm.
for a moment, is worth 10%. I don't know.
What if you have a medical issue and you can't get it, the vaccination, and now you have to tell everybody everywhere you go,
Mhm.
hey, I have this weird disease, I can't get it. Now every grocery store clerk, every MLB game that you go to, every airplane that you get on knows that you have this rare whatever disease that doesn't allow you to get the COVID vaccine.
You're getting discriminated against.
You are
because
getting
of your genetic
discriminated
makeup.
against.
Kind of like if you can't medically wear a mask. Kind of like that.
Yes. All of it, it's discrimination, no matter how you slice it.
So how should we be responding? I was thinking, like, as far as if somebody were to ask me that again and I choose that I don't want the discount or the free donut, I'm trying, like, what would be the appropriate response to that? Be like, I've been thinking about it. Do you guys have any ideas? Be like, oh, I prefer not to. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Here's
Just
my
say no.
card, but
No,
it's
thank you.
against HIPAA rules. I can't show it to you. I'd like my free donut.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like walking into a store, though, when they ask you where your mask is and you say, hey, I have my doctor's note. Would you like to see it? Right away, they should not say yes. They should not say yes.
I don't think they're allowed
That's
to.
true, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I totally looked at this as the business side because I, for one, have not had a vaccination and I don't see myself doing that in the near future. And then there I said it.
Mhm.
But as a business owner, I think it's great marketing. And I think that's why this story intrigued me. And
Mhm.
whatever it takes to get back those customers through the door. And if you want to be praised for getting your cat vaccine,
So
I
how
can
will you
assure
go about it? I
you.
have to ask you. So if somebody comes in, are you hoping that they'll be like, hey, by the way, I saw your advertisement. I happen to have this COVID card. Are you going to ask them to
No.
provide this?
No,
You
absolutely
want them
not.
to bring it up then to you or show you, or how do you want that?
I plan on rolling out a whole marketing thing on this
Okay.
on social media and Facebook, and
Yeah.
I hope my name's up there with
Yeah,
Salt Pepper
for
Photography. I'm not going to ask somebody to see
Okay.
them. It's
I
a
could
fake
type it
one.
in there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you do that?
Hey, and if
That's,
you're watching live, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm in the country and I have like really weird satellite internet, but we will be doing these segments also throughout the week next week, so you can catch each separate segment. Just follow Matt Logan Speaks everywhere. We'll put the videos there. But I think it's a sign that we're dedicated to do this live, and it's important to us, even though we have those slight interruptions. And something too, that if you're listening or watching right now, comments. Thanks for the comments. We've had several. I've had quite a few texts also, but I'm trying to tell people who text me, just comment. We're not going to say your name if you comment. We're not going to put it on the screen. We're not going to do those things. Go ahead and comment, and we will maybe possibly talk about it. And I'm thinking right now, as I say that, maybe what we should do is we should take comments throughout the show, and then like say the comments at the end of the show, and that's how we wrap up. What do you guys think of that?
Sure,
Should we do that maybe next week?
a little interactive.
Yeah, well, but we'll talk about the stories, and people can comment throughout the episode, and then at the end of the episode, I can go through and look at the comments, and do that at the end of the show, and we can just insert new opinions at the end of each story. That might be kind of a good way to do
Only
it.
because we got some comments today already regarding.
Yeah, that's good. And I've got one here too that I didn't listen to all of it, but there are some interesting studies done on marijuana and how it affects teen brains. Yes, I agree with that. I remember as my kids were young people, reading about. I can't exactly remember what that was, but that is said for everything with a young brain,
Right.
Mhm.
whether that be alcohol or whether that be
Yeah.
caffeine or whether that be anything that affects a person's physiology.
Right.
Tobacco or
It-
anything.
yeah, tobacco. I mean, literally things that are legal for a teen to have is still not necessarily good because of the developing brain. So, but yeah, I do remember seeing that. So thanks for that comment.
I think most of the laws are 18 and up or 21 and up when it comes to legalizing marijuana. But
Right.
Yeah,
Kinda
and I think that makes sense. I got a text too about let me just look at it again. San Diego something in San Diego, apparently they heard they want to lower the voting age to 16.
Wow.
Low information voter.
Wow.
No.
I don't know about that.
And
They were trying.
and
No, they were talking about that.
and so I'm not they
Yeah.
didn't I didn't read the whole thing, but they just said somewhere in San Diego they heard, and I imagine that was the story about what Georgia is doing and the voting. I imagine that ties into that one. So
Well, it sure wouldn't have been Orange County, but yeah.
maybe we can talk about that on next week's show.
yeah, I don't know, that's
That'd be a good
interesting.
topic.
Yeah, I might look into
They
that a
were
little
talking
bit.
about that a year ago already, though.
Were
trying to
they
get more voters,
younger? Yeah.
Especially now if they have a lot of illegal immigrants too. Speaking of, we were talking about that last year or last week. Remember how many young people they had coming across the border, and a report had just come out. I think it was 19,000 that had just come out last month. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to recap
Mhm.
Yeah.
our story. We had
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. That's going to be
19,001
that's going to be a story.
Wow.
That keeps going.
Yeah.
I almost brought in the story this week of the Biden administration now came out and said they're probably going to start in on the wall
I saw
again.
that. Yes.
It's like,
We got to seal up some of
Woo!
those holes. Slow this
it's-
down.
yeah, I know. It's like what?
Face palm.
But anyway, so there it is. Here we go. Good week.
Very good.
Fun articles.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go take a nap now. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually gonna go get my grandkids in a bit, so get them for the weekend. So it's gonna be
Very
fun.
nice.
I'll be really worn out, right?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Martha May was giving me a hard time earlier about that, but
It's great. No, it's great.
In
that
a
you
way, they
got-
keep you young as well. Right?
yeah, for sure. Hey, where can we find y'all? Who's gonna go first?
Lisa Lingle, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Harmony Sage, Facebook.
Martha Makashadi on Facebook.
Craig Euglin, Facebook and Instagram.
I am Matt Logan of Matt Logan Speaks. You can find me on Minds, Parlor, Gab, Twitter, all of them, Facebook, Instagram. I'm there. I
Hammer
thank
note.
you. Yeah, hammer the like button, hammer the share button. Thank you for watching, listening, and sharing as well. I had about 4 messages last week that people said, "Hey, I didn't even know you were doing this new show. We're not seeing your videos. We're not seeing your videos. I see your posts every day with your pictures and all those things, but I don't see your videos. Why?" Well, the algorithms is what it is. You got to hit the share button. People have to, or the like button, have to know that you're actually interested in it. And if you're not interested in it, be interested in it. Just kidding. See y'all next week.
That's
Goodbye.
authoritarian.
Yeah, exactly.